Hi, Robin Jackson here with your Monday morning mind step, where every single week I help you make the leap from being a leader to being a builder so that you can turn your school into a success story with the people and resources you already have. Now, this week's mind step is all about moving from information to execution. Now, I don't know about you, but I am a complete information junkie. I am constantly reading 2 or 3 books at a time. I listen to 2 hours of podcasts a day. I regularly enroll in trainings. I participate in masterminds, and I go to several conferences every single year. I love to learn. And I'm guessing that if you're watching this Monday morning mind step, then you love to learn too. In fact, they say that a sign of a great leader is a love of learning. But there's a difference between learning something and putting it into practice. And as leaders, we're often told that we need to consistently fill our toolbox so that no matter what situation we face, we can just whip out the right tool that we need to deal with it. So we spend our time dutifully filling our toolboxes every single year. We go to conferences and we collect PowerPoint presentations. We have a binder full of handouts that we got at trainings. We have degrees and credentials representing hundreds of hours of class time, and we have bookshelves full of books, many of which we haven't even read yet. So what good is your toolbox full of information if you never use it? And that's why builders don't focus on collecting information. They focus on implementing. And because they are so focused on implementing, it makes them huge PD snobs. They don't just learn something for learning's sake. They only read a book or attend a training or go to a conference because they have a specific goal for learning and a specific plan for how they're going to implement what they're learning as soon as they get back to their school or their district. I'm always amazed at the people who come to Builders Lab and they take what they're learning and they immediately put it into practice while they're at the event. And a year later, they've transformed their schools. And then there are those who come to Builders Lab and they take everything in. They write copious notes. They say they're going to think about everything, and then they'll decide what they implement when they get back to their own school. And then a year later, they're still thinking. Now, as an information junkie, I too am guilty of this. I collect a lot of information, but I find that when I just collect it and I don't do anything about it, I start feeling more and more overwhelmed. So I'm learning to be more selective. I now carefully choose what information I consume based on my current goals. And then each time I read a book or listen to a podcast or attend a conference, I make a plan for how I'm going to execute on what I learn, and then I push myself to do it. When you go to a training, you're not there to collect more information. Information is pretty useless if you don't implement it. So this week's mind step is this. Think about your goals for the year. Then look through all the information you've collected over the last month or the last 6 months. Maybe it was a podcast episode you listened to. Maybe it was a book you read. Maybe it was a conference you attended. Whatever it is, look through that information and find one thing that you can use to execute on for achieving your goal. And then go execute it. It's time to stop collecting information and start executing like a builder. And if you want our help executing, at Builders Lab, we spend the whole half of the third day executing. We have something called Implementation Lab so that you can start implementing what you learned at Builders Lab right away before you even get home. Get your ticket to Builders Lab at mindstepsinc.com/builders-lab.